Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, brought to you as always by Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those top stories making headlines. Yesterday, we brought you news that Israel's Foreign Minister Eli Cohen was on a one-day solidarity visit to Turkey. Now, this comes in the wake of the horrific earthquake that struck both Turkey and Syria and has claimed the lives of at least 35,000 people. The foreign minister met both with his counterpart, Foreign Minister Cavusoglu, as well as Turkish President Erdogan. Both leaders expressed their gratitude for all of Israel's help, and the foreign minister reiterated Israel will continue to send humanitarian aid and expressed his condolences on behalf of the State of Israel and the Israeli people. In his meeting with President Erdogan, Foreign Minister Cohen also spoke about Hamas still holding the remains of two fallen Israeli soldiers as well as two Israeli civilians captive. The two also discussed the looming Iranian threat. Foreign Minister Eli Cohen then traveled to visit Israel's field hospitals, which are still being manned, this despite the fact that most search and rescue teams from around the world have returned to their respective countries. He reiterated that Israel will continue to support people who need medical care, even though the hospitals in Turkey are operational again. The Palestinian Mission to the United Nations are preparing a resolution for the UN Security Council to vote on. Now, this follows an announcement by the government that they will legally recognize 9 outposts and build a further 10,000 homes in the West Bank. The government have said that this is in response to ongoing terror attacks against Israeli civilians that so far have claimed 11 lives. Meanwhile, yesterday, the Prime Minister's office and the Jerusalem municipality announced that they are fortifying bus stops in and around the city and will bolster the city with extra border police reserves. And we have been speaking quite a bit about the planned overhaul to Israel's judiciary, and it looks like today we may have some kind of breakthrough. Now, yesterday, President Herzog met individually with members of the opposition as well as the coalition, and he once again appealed for them to put a freeze on discussions until a compromise had been reached. And maybe, just maybe, we have the first glimmer of that coming through today. So earlier today, the coalition agreed to freeze 1 out of 2 writings of the proposed override law. We don't have exact details which one is which. They also agreed not to vote on the dairy law, which would see Aryeh Deri, the ruling against him by the Supreme Court, claiming unreasonableness for his ability to serve as the Interior and Health Minister, be postponed or not voted on. This is a significant breakthrough because despite the High Court ruling that said that despite Deri's criminal record, he shouldn't be able to serve as a minister, they want that ruling overruled. And today there was an agreement reached where they will not push that for a vote as of yet. So significant breakthroughs coming through. And our last story, because we really do need something to lighten up the news of late, and the rare red lemur that enjoyed a good life at the Ramat Gan Safari Park decided to go on a safari of his own yesterday. He escaped to a nearby nature reserve. He has been safely located and returned to his enclosure, but people were warned that if they saw Sai, not to engage with him. But what has me a little bit concerned is that he's not the first resident of the safari park to make a quick escape. We've had rhinos, hippos, and even ostriches go on their own visit outside the gate. So I want to know what's going on there. Anyway, it's a little bit of a light-hearted story to end off this news broadcast, but just a reminder that you can check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. There is an article up taking a look at Operation Olive Branch, and you are free to share our content. We love it when you do that. Our Facebook page is at Lottle's site. If you do see us, like us, follow us, share our content. We know these days with all the changes to Facebook and all the clamping down that sometimes it's harder and harder to see our content, but we are there, so check us out. We're on YouTube at The Israel Brief. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider hitting that red subscribe button. Let's get that community growing. And we're on Twitter at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks with the Hump Day edition of the Israel Brief, and we'll check in with your headlines tomorrow.